The Galactic Council, a grand alliance of advanced alien civilizations, assembled in its vast, ornate chamber. Representatives from hundreds of worlds sat in their floating seats, each exuding a sense of superiority and collective purpose. Their topic, Earth, a seemingly insignificant world, which had somehow managed to captivate and concern the entire council. The discussion was lively but filled with disdain. Earth was a young, erratic planet, barely scratching the surface of spacefaring technology. Many council members saw humans as an oddity, a race that stumbled into new discoveries with brute force and aggression, rather than finesse or understanding. In their eyes, humanity was a reckless civilization, always teetering on the edge of chaos and violence, yet somehow emerging stronger with every conflict. For centuries, the Council had observed Earth's inhabitants as they grappled with internal conflicts, environmental crises, and power struggles. But recently, something had shifted. The Council had watched humanity's rapid technological advancements with mounting concern. Humans had achieved breakthroughs in fields that normally took millennia for other species to master. They had developed nuclear technology, sophisticated cyber systems, and even primitive space travel in just a few generations. What had taken other civilizations eons, humanity had achieved in mere centuries. Several members were openly dismissive. To them, Earth was a minor player in the galactic scheme, a planet full of overly ambitious, arrogant beings who posed no real threat. They spoke about humanity's weaknesses, their chaotic political systems, their reliance on emotion over reason, and their penchant for self-destruction. Surely, a civilization that couldn't even unite under one world government would never hold a place of importance in the galactic hierarchy. They believed humans lacked the discipline and unity required to pose a threat. However, not everyone in the chambers shared this view. A small faction within the council viewed Earth with a cautious respect, if not fear. They cited instances where humanity had demonstrated an almost unnatural resilience. Reports had emerged of humans surviving in conditions that would kill most sentient beings: extreme cold, intense heat, and even the vacuum of space. Some council members had studied Earth's history and noted how humans consistently overcame insurmountable odds, adapting and evolving with each new challenge. As the debate continued, a consensus began to form: Earth's rapid development could no longer be ignored. Humanity's recent actions, their increasingly bold space explorations, and their weapon advancements were seen as a challenge to the established order. The Council feared that, unchecked, humanity could one day disrupt the fragile balance they had maintained across the galaxy. The Council reached a decision. They would send a message, a show of force that would make humanity understand its place. An elite fleet, equipped with the most advanced technology, would descend upon Earth and impose a display of galactic might, just enough to suppress humanity's growing ambition. This wasn't meant to destroy Earth, but rather to humble it. The Council was confident that a demonstration of their overwhelming power would be enough to deter humans from further advancement, at least for a few more centuries. The decision was rooted in their belief that humanity, despite its resilience, would be unable to withstand a coordinated, technologically superior assault. Earth's governments would be forced into submission, its ambitions crushed, and the Council's control over the galaxy reaffirmed. The Council believed that humans, with their primitive weapons and limited understanding of space warfare, would stand no chance against the advanced capabilities of the galactic fleet. As the plans were finalized, a lone voice in the chamber raised a note of caution. This member, a seasoned council elder, expressed doubt. Humanity, he argued, was not like other species. They had an unpredictable nature, one that often led them to triumph in situations where survival seemed impossible. Earth's people, he reminded the Council, had a unique knack for adapting to threats, often developing unorthodox solutions in the face of overwhelming odds. He warned that underestimating them could lead to consequences the Council hadn't anticipated. But the elder's words were quickly dismissed. The majority saw his caution as an overreaction. Humanity was, in their view, too primitive to present any real threat to a galactic power. The Council's plan was foolproof, and their superiority was unquestionable. The elders' doubts were brushed aside as mere paranoia, a relic of a time when his people had faced similar existential threats. With the decision made, the Council turned its attention back to their preparations. In their minds, the outcome was already certain. Earth would be reminded of its place, and the galaxy would continue undisturbed. Confident in their plan, they gave the command, and the fleet prepared to embark on its mission. The Galactic Council's fleet arrived in Earth's orbit like a dark wave, ships blotting out the stars as they settled into position above the planet. Massive and sleek, each ship was a testament to the technological supremacy of the Council, a terrifying display of power. Bristling with advanced weaponry, and shielded by layers of impenetrable force fields, the fleet seemed an unstoppable force poised to bring Earth to its knees. In their arrogance, the aliens expected no resistance, only swift submission. Broadcasting in hundreds of Earth's languages, the Council's message echoed across the planet's airwaves, screens, and communication devices. It was a cold ultimatum, ordering immediate surrender under threat of annihilation. The Council's voice spoke of humanity's place in the galaxy, an inferior race that had dared to reach too high. Earth had two choices: capitulate or face a relentless assault. But Earth's response was anything but submissive. Hours after the ultimatum, a transmission was sent back to the Council's fleet. In a defiant tone, Earth's spokesperson made it clear that humanity would not surrender. Their message was direct, even mocking, challenging the Council to do its worst if they believed they could subjugate Earth so easily. Humanity had chosen to fight. With a grim sense of inevitability, the Council initiated the first wave of attack. Precision strikes began, targeting Earth's military installations, communications hubs, and major urban centers. Explosions erupted across the globe as cities trembled under the force of alien bombardments. Initial scans from the fleet indicated that Earth's defenses were struggling, barely holding together. As buildings crumbled and communication networks faltered, the Council's commanders allowed themselves a moment of satisfaction, certain that Earth's surrender was imminent. However, as the assault continued, the Council's forces began noticing something strange. Human defensive measures, crude by galactic standards, started adapting. Earth's cyber warfare teams, vastly outmatched in resources and technology, found ways to disrupt the fleet's control systems. They launched coordinated cyber attacks, scrambling communications, distorting sensor readings, and even causing brief lapses in the alien ship's defensive barriers. The Council's fleet commanders were stunned. No other species had ever attempted cyber warfare on this scale against the Council, let alone succeeded. On the ground, humanity adopted guerrilla tactics that exploited the aliens' unfamiliarity with the terrain and Earth's atmosphere. Using advanced knowledge of their own planet's electromagnetic fields, human forces deployed EMP weapons in strategic locations, creating disruptions that momentarily disarmed enemy ships and forced them to fall back. They set up decoys and ambushes, luring alien ground forces into heavily fortified zones and launching counterattacks that inflicted unexpected casualties on the invaders. The Council's forces faced unexpected orbital counterattacks as well. Earth's military, initially overwhelmed, began adapting in real time, deploying satellites armed with tactical explosives and re-engineered long-range missiles that targeted the alien fleet's less protected areas. Human ingenuity in repurposing their technology into space weaponry caught the Council off guard, disrupting the fleet's cohesion and slowing the planned pace of their conquest. Earth's forces didn't stop there. Utilizing pieces of damaged alien tech they'd managed to capture, human engineers and scientists worked around the clock, dissecting alien systems to understand their vulnerabilities. Within hours, humans started identifying weaknesses in the Council's shield technology, something even Council engineers believed was virtually unbreakable. Earth's engineers quickly crafted targeted devices designed to interfere with the alien shields, allowing Earth's defense teams to score minor but significant hits on smaller vessels, much to the Council's surprise. Back in the Council's observation rooms, the situation was causing growing concern. What had been expected to be a swift, decisive campaign was devolving into something far more complex. Earth's forces were adapting too quickly, repurposing alien technology with astonishing speed, and displaying levels of creativity that the Council had not anticipated. Each adaptation, each tactical shift on Earth's part, seemed to come from a bottomless well of ingenuity and tenacity. Alien commanders, used to overwhelming their opponents with sheer force, found themselves struggling to keep up with Earth's unpredictable defense. The Council had expected Earth's defenses to collapse within hours, but the prolonged resistance was draining resources and exhausting their soldiers. Every new tactic deployed by the Council was quickly met with a countermeasure, as humanity learned, adapted, and retaliated with a ferocity that left the Council commanders shaken. As the hours turned into days, the Council began to realize that they had made a critical error in underestimating humanity. For every tactic they deployed, Earth had a response, one that often struck at the fleet's most vulnerable points. Humanity's capacity to adapt on the fly, to analyze and exploit alien technology, and to rally in the face of annihilation was unlike anything the Council had seen before. The initial confidence among Council members gave way to a creeping sense of dread. Their fleet, once invincible, was being held back, forced into defensive positions by a species they had dismissed as primitive. Earth's defiance, backed by an unyielding resistance, was forcing the Council to confront a reality they had never anticipated. Humanity was not going to surrender, nor were they going to fall easily. The battle raged on, with each passing hour making it increasingly clear that humanity was not just fighting for survival but for their freedom. And with every counter-strike, every ingenious tactic, Earth sent a clear message to the Council: they would not be conquered. With the initial shock of the alien assault behind them, Earth's military leaders gathered to plan a counterattack unlike anything humanity had ever attempted. Instead of waiting for the next wave, they decided to take the fight directly to the Galactic Council's fleet. Humanity had shown resilience, but now it was time to strike back with aggression and ingenuity. This wasn't going to be a simple defense. Earth's strategists aimed to destabilize and dismantle the Council's invasion force with ruthless precision. The plan was ambitious and audacious. Earth's hackers and intelligence experts, who had spent days analyzing alien technology, uncovered exploitable weaknesses in the Council's communication systems. Human cyber warfare teams, working round the clock, began hacking into the alien networks. They disrupted fleet communications, sent false orders, and sowed confusion within the Council's ranks. The Council's chain of command, unprepared for such an infiltration, began to crack under the strain as alien ships received contradictory commands and struggled to coordinate their movements. Simultaneously, Earth's forces launched their brutal counteroffensive. Bombers, drones, and re-engineered missiles were unleashed on the fleet, targeting specific ships with relentless precision. Earth's engineers had modified their weaponry using captured alien technology, allowing missiles to pierce Council shields and cause devastating damage. The counterattack was calculated and merciless. The aliens had expected a slow, reactionary defense. Instead, they were faced with an aggressive assault designed to exploit every vulnerability humanity had uncovered. Every tool at Earth's disposal was utilized to maximum effect. Satellites retrofitted with powerful lasers and makeshift explosives targeted key ships within the Council fleet. Human forces moved with an intensity and coordination that the aliens had never anticipated. Earth's fighter pilots, many with experience in combat simulations designed to push the limits of strategy, engaged alien fighters in dizzying, unpredictable patterns, outmaneuvering and outgunning ships that were supposed to be vastly superior. Ground forces launched long-range artillery attacks that sent shockwaves through the alien fleet. Every assault chipped away at the Council's strength, creating chaos and undermining their once invincible image. Then, humanity took their fight to a new level: psychological warfare. Using hacked channels, Earth broadcasted messages directly to the Council's fleet. In these transmissions, human leaders spoke with resolve, asserting that Earth would never bow, that any further aggression would be met with even more devastating retaliation. They recounted humanity's history of resilience, challenging the aliens with the grim promise that humans would fight to their last breath. Messages were carefully crafted to inspire fear, each one a reminder of how humanity had adapted, learned, and struck back harder every time they were challenged. The broadcasts had a profound effect. Alien soldiers, who had expected to encounter a primitive, broken species, now saw an enemy that seemed unbreakable, relentless. Earth's bold defiance, paired with the tangible destruction they were inflicting, began to fracture the Council's morale. Alien captains, uncertain and demoralized, hesitated, making them vulnerable to even more of Earth's attacks. The Council's fleet, once so cohesive and unstoppable, found itself disoriented and overwhelmed. Earth's counteroffensive grew bolder with each success. Using the alien fleet's weaknesses against it, humanity began targeting the larger Council ships that had previously seemed untouchable. One by one, ships burst into fiery wrecks, consumed by explosions from Earth's modified missiles. Some alien crews abandoned their posts mid-battle, succumbing to fear, their resolve shattered. Earth's forces exploited this chaos ruthlessly, driving deeper into the fleet's ranks with each attack. After hours of relentless fighting, humanity scored a critical victory. A significant portion of the Council's fleet lay in ruins, ships reduced to smoldering debris. Earth's forces had fought with everything they had, forcing the Council's once mighty armada into a retreat. For the first time, the Council fleet turned away from Earth, withdrawing to regroup, stunned by the ferocity of humanity's defense. The message to the Council was unmistakable: humanity would not surrender, nor would they stand by while their world was attacked. Earth's leaders sent a final transmission to the retreating fleet, a statement of defiance and warning. Any attempt to return would be met with an even stronger, more ruthless response. The Council, shaken and humiliated, was left reeling, their perception of humanity forever changed. In that moment, they understood that they had encountered a force that would not yield. News of the fleet's defeat reached the Galactic Council, and disbelief echoed through the Grand Chamber. The Council members, each representing civilizations that had dominated the galaxy for millennia, struggled to comprehend the impossible. Earth, a primitive world, had driven back the finest fleet in their arsenal. Faces that had once looked upon humanity with smug disdain were now twisted in shock, anger, and even fear. Whispers and gasps spread through the chamber as counselors, who had confidently declared Earth's certain defeat, sat in stunned silence. For the first time in recent memory, the Council found itself unsure. They had expected humanity to crumble under the force of the assault, to submit, or be wiped out. Instead, humanity had turned the tide, using a fierce mix of ingenuity and sheer resilience. This loss was more than just a setback, it was a profound humiliation. The Council had ruled the galaxy with the belief that no lesser species could challenge them, let alone a young, divided world like Earth. The atmosphere quickly turned tense as panic took hold. Many Council members demanded an immediate, overwhelming response to erase the stain of Earth's defiance. In their view, the only answer was to use weapons of mass destruction, obliterating Earth completely and removing the threat once and for all. Yet, even as some councilors argued for annihilation, a sense of caution emerged among others. For the first time, they saw humanity as more than an annoyance. They saw them as a species that would not only resist but retaliate, potentially with unpredictable and devastating consequences. As arguments erupted, humanity struck again, this time, with words. Using their newly gained access to the Council's communication systems, Earth's leaders broadcasted a chilling message directly to the Council chamber. In resolute, unflinching terms, humanity warned that any further aggression would be met with an even more brutal response. If the Council persisted, Earth would take the fight to the Council's own homeworlds. They promised not merely to defend, but to retaliate, targeting key worlds within the Council's domain. This message landed like a thunderbolt, silencing the Council members who had called for Earth's destruction. For the first time, the Council felt truly vulnerable. They had never considered the possibility of humanity reaching beyond its solar system, let alone threatening their worlds. But the fierce, calculated nature of Earth's counterattack had proven that humanity could adapt in ways no other race had. Some Council members, aware of Earth's unpredictable tactics, began to consider the implications of a prolonged conflict with a species so willing to use unconventional strategies. The cost of pushing further could be astronomical. The chamber quickly descended into division and chaos. Old alliances and loyalties began to fracture as Council members chose sides. On one hand, there were those who demanded revenge, unable to accept that their rule had been challenged by what they still viewed as an inferior species. These councilors called for Earth's complete annihilation, convinced that anything less would invite future defiance. On the other hand, a growing faction emerged that advocated for restraint, arguing that Earth's message was clear: humanity would not submit, and any attempt to force them would only provoke more bloodshed. Those who pushed for caution began to see a new reality. Earth was no longer simply a rebellious planet. Humanity's defiance had revealed cracks in the Council's own structure, and an extended war could destabilize their entire order. The Council had always presented itself as a unified power, but Earth's retaliation had exposed their vulnerability and sparked discord. As Council members argued, they realized that humanity's unexpected resistance was beginning to undermine their authority not only on Earth but across the galaxy. Other, lesser civilizations might take notice and question the Council's strength. Earth's message continued to haunt the chamber, each word a reminder that humanity would not be easily defeated. The Council's once unshakable dominance had been challenged, and their failure to bring Earth into submission had sown doubt within their own ranks. For every councilor demanding vengeance, there was another who questioned the wisdom of further conflict. In this moment, humanity held a new kind of power, one that extended beyond military might. By refusing to surrender, they had forced the Council to confront the limits of their authority. As tensions mounted, it became clear that Earth's resilience had not only saved them from immediate destruction but had also given them a significant strategic advantage. The Council, divided and uncertain, now faced a dilemma they had never anticipated: proceed with an all-out war against an enemy that had already outmaneuvered them, or seek a truce with the very species they had once dismissed as insignificant. In the end, humanity's defiance had shifted the balance. The Council, once an emblem of absolute power, now faced a future clouded with doubt and discord. And on Earth, humanity prepared for whatever lay ahead, knowing that they had not only survived but had, against all odds, claimed their place among the stars. Empowered by their unexpected victory, Earth's leaders decided it was time to deliver a final message to the Galactic Council. Humanity would no longer be bullied or threatened. They demanded recognition, respect, and acknowledgement as an independent force in the galaxy. Broadcasting across the Council's communication channels, they delivered an ultimatum: if the Council attempted any further aggression, humanity would respond with an even more devastating counterstrike. The world had rallied to face the invasion, and Earth was now a united front, ready to defend itself with all its might. Humanity's message was clear: Earth's sovereignty was non-negotiable. No race, however advanced, would dictate their future or control their progress. In the face of this bold declaration, the Council's chamber was filled with a tense silence. The once confident rulers of the galaxy, who had gathered to crush a perceived upstart civilization, now found themselves on the receiving end of a demand that they had no means to refuse. The Council members shifted uncomfortably, some still seething with resentment, while others showed a glint of admiration for Earth's resilience. The Council's own losses had been devastating. A significant portion of their fleet lay in ruins, and their ranks were bitterly divided over how to proceed. Some factions argued for vengeance, but the realities of their situation made that increasingly unfeasible. Repeated attacks from Earth had caused chaos not only among the fleet but within the Council's homeworlds themselves, where rebellious whispers had already begun to stir. Several Council members representing weaker civilizations voiced support for peace, fearing that further aggression would invite retaliation against their own planets. Earth's strength and resilience had sent shockwaves across the galaxy, emboldening those who had quietly chafed under the Council's rule. Faced with mounting losses, fractured alliances, and a growing fear that humanity would indeed strike back with even greater fury, the Council ultimately agreed to Earth's terms. A formal acknowledgement of Earth as an independent force was drafted, a reluctant yet profound concession from a body that had only ever viewed lesser civilizations as subjects. This marked a historic moment. In the Galactic Council's halls, Earth was now respected not out of diplomacy but out of fear. The Council's message reached Earth with an official declaration of recognition, asserting that Earth's sovereignty would be respected, and any past grievances would be formally closed. Earth's leaders and citizens celebrated in waves of exhilaration and pride. They had not only survived the onslaught of a far superior force but had forced it into submission. For the first time, humanity had claimed a place on the galactic stage, not as a lesser species but as a power to be reckoned with. The Council's formal concession was more than just an agreement. It was a victory that validated humanity's unbreakable spirit and resilience. Across Earth, people acknowledged the unprecedented unity that had emerged in the face of invasion. National boundaries had faded in importance, replaced by a sense of global solidarity and purpose. Humanity had been tested, and in rising to meet the challenge, they had defined a new identity, not just as inhabitants of Earth, but as defenders of it. The victory was celebrated as a turning point, a moment in history when Earth defied the odds and stood firm against a force that had once seemed insurmountable. It was a victory that sparked a profound shift in human perspective. They no longer saw themselves as isolated or vulnerable. They were now a unified species, ready to face whatever came next. In the galaxy beyond, Earth's triumph sent ripples through countless worlds, inspiring species that had long endured subjugation under the Council's rule. The Galactic Council, once a monolithic force that ruled with unchecked authority, now faced an uncertain future. Humanity's defiance had set a precedent. If a single planet could withstand the Council's wrath, what might other civilizations accomplish if they too chose to resist? As the celebrations quieted and Earth returned to its newfound peace, humanity remained vigilant. The victory had been hard-won, but they knew the galaxy would be watching, uncertain about what ambitions this primitive world might harbor in the future. Earth's ascent had begun, and with it, a message to the stars: humanity was here to stay, and they would never again allow themselves to be underestimated.